Come along with me as I take a look at some of the awesome new manga coming out in May of 2024. Welcome to the Manga Buyer's Guide for May 2024. We've got a lot of really great stuff coming out from a lot of different publishers. So let's go ahead and get started with it. Of course, as always, there are a couple of things I want to note before we get to the meat of the video here. First off, I don't cover every single new release for the month. I'm only covering what I consider to be notable new releases. If you're new here, you might not be aware of that, and I don't want you going into the video being like, why didn't you mention volume 2 of this, or volume 7 of this, or volume 25 of this? I'm only focusing in these videos on the notable new releases, which are typically going to be debut volumes, single volume releases, final volumes, special editions. I try to cover every one of those that gets released. Sometimes I miss some stuff, especially final volumes. But the main focus here is because I'm trying to help you as a manga reader to find something new. There are so many new titles that go on sale every single week that it's really easy to miss something that could be your next favorite thing. So it is my job here to make sure that you don't miss any of those things. You're aware of them, you know what they are, and now with me talking about them to you, you can make an informed decision whether you want to pick it up or not. Second point to mention here is release dates. I use the official release dates from the publishers that are shown on places like Amazon, Crunchyroll, Barnes & Noble, but those dates are subject to change. Things will get delayed, and things do come out sometimes earlier than the expected release date. And then finally, if you happen to be on Twitter, you can follow me at OmniCollector, and if you pick up any of the volumes that I mentioned in this video that you otherwise would have missed out on, just post a picture of it, tag me, let me know that you grabbed it because of me, and it's always great. I love seeing that stuff. Now, we're going to get into everything, and if you have been here before for these Manga Buyer's Guide videos, it's going to be a little bit different because, well, let's just show the format that we're using now. First up, from May 1st was I'm Enough, an illustrated beginner's guide to self-acceptance and interpersonal relationships from Last Gasp. So if everything goes right in publishing, you're going to see quite a different screen here. I'm shrunk down to a little picture-in-picture image. If I go through any of these titles too fast, feel free to pause so you can read through any of the additional info that I give on the screen. It's all publication info that I think might be helpful to some people. But this one is a guide using manga to show how interpersonal relationships strongly impact our mental well-being. Written and drawn by Tenten Hosokawa, showing her visit to a psychiatrist, Dr. Hiroko Mizushima, who is an expert in the field of interpersonal psychotherapy, a practice focused on the relationships closest to us as a way of improving our mental health. Then on the 7th, we had a good amount of new releases. First up from Viz Media is Star Wars Visions, the manga anthology. This is an anthology of 4 short stories from various creators, adapting 4 of the shorts from the first season of Star Wars Visions. So if you were a fan of the first season of Star Wars Visions and some of the stuff that was in that series, then you might want to pick this one up. The big highlight for this anthology collection, without a doubt, is the fact that Kamome Shirahama of Witch Hat Atelier does draw the first chapter of 4 within this book. Next up, another one from Viz Media, You and I Are Polar Opposites. This is a brand new shonen rom-com as part of their Shonen Jump line about a bubbly high school girl, Suzuki, who had a major crush on her stoic classmate who is the complete opposite of her, named Tani. I've read the first half of this volume so far. I'm really enjoying it. I think that it is a great departure from a lot of the typical shonen rom-com where basically the majority of the series is made up of the 2 characters and their whole will they won't they type thing, where one of them is crushing on the other, or we know that both are crushing on each other. In this one, spoilers for the first chapter, Suzuki reveals that she has a crush on Tani at the end of the first chapter. She tells him. And then spoilers for the second chapter, by the end of that chapter, Tani has also told Suzuki that he has a crush on her. So it kind of circumvents all of the typical tropes of a shonen rom-com, and we get right into the relationship. So now we can see the 2 dating and all the hijinks that happen with that. I'm really liking it so far. The characters are fun. The artwork is great. So I'm looking forward to reading more. Next up, we have another one. This one, actually, I have to give thanks to Kodansha as well as Yen Press and Square Enix for sending me some advanced review copies. those two were mine. I bought those, the Viz books, but these come from Kodansha. First up, we got I See Your Face Turned Away. This is from the creator of My Sweet Girl. It follows Hikari, a very ordinary girl who develops a new hobby of wondering what romance would be like between her friend Mari and the cute guy in their class, Otani. It's all fun and games until she starts to wonder if she really can only be the best friend in this love story. This one actually just won the 2024 Kodansha Manga Award in the Best Shojo category, by the way. So I have read the first chapter of this one. It was very, very intriguing plot, but also I love the artwork and just the narrative itself, the way that it's presented, and the dialogue and the monologues and stuff are really well done, and I cannot wait to finish this book. It's on my stack now to keep reading, so I will have some thoughts on that later if I continue to do video logs of my reading over on my TikTok page. Next up, from Alien Books, new publisher, we have Kerberos in the Silver Rain. I don't know why, but in the text for the title itself, the little blurbs, they call it Cerberus, but the title is Kerberos, so they use both different spellings for that. Anyway, Sakuya, Goto, and Leon are an elite task force known as Cerberus, created by the Japanese government to protect a new energy known as Psi. Sakuya is Cerberus's deadliest fighter, although she must be supported by Goto and Leon because of past trauma that continues to haunt her. I haven't looked into the length, I'll have it on here, but knowing Alien Books, it's probably a short series, so if it sounds interesting to you, it's not going to be a huge commitment. Next up, from 7 Seas Entertainment, we have Monster Cats. This is from Pandania, the creator of Yokai Cats and the Evil Secret Society of Cats. It's a new series that sees humans living alongside adorable supernatural cats. And then also from 7 Seas, debuting this month, is True Love Fades Away When the Contract Ends, which is based on the light novel series of the same name. This is a period drama about a noblewoman and a nobleman pretending to be in love so that they can avoid their family's marriage plans for them. Then from Square Enix, again, shout out to Square Enix for sending the advanced copies. We got Mobsters in Love. This one is a lighthearted BL rom-com about a mob boss and his right-hand man who is hopelessly in love with him. But as a trusted subordinate, he can't reveal his secret to his boss, so he stays caught between duty and his feelings. Anyway, moving onward, from Tokyo Pop, we have a couple more releases for the week of May 7th. This reincarnated cross-dressing princess won't be looking for a fiancé. Princess Alicia cross-dresses to attend a male-only magic academy, but then realizes she's living in the setting of a BL novel she was reading in her previous life. Alicia's purpose at the school is to be married to one of the candidates her mother has prepared so that she can avoid a political arranged marriage. However, all the candidates are part of the novel's protagonist's harem, except for a new man she'd never heard of before, the summoner Lucius, whom she soon begins falling for. And then the last one for this week from Tokyo Pop is A Beast's Love is Like the Moon. It's a single volume BL about a young man named Izuki who leaves the city to take care of his uncle's mountain house, where he meets a man named Haku claiming to be the incarnation of a Komainu guardian dog. Haku begs Izuki to be his master, and while Izuki first refuses because he wants to return to the city, Haku's eyes sway him back to the house. While the two begin to grow comfortable together under the same roof, Haku harbors a dangerous secret that could put Izuki at risk. So that's the end of the 7th, and then we move into some books coming out on the 14th of the month. Starting off with a big one, My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999. This is the first release from Penguin Random House's new imprint, Inklore. If you're unfamiliar with the story from the popular anime that came out last year, this is about Akane, who was recently dumped by her boyfriend. She decides to log back into the online RPG that they used to play together to relieve some stress by taking down low-level enemies. In the game, she then meets Yamada, a reclusive gamer whom Akane finds awkward and alluring. Later, Akane runs into her ex at a gaming convention and decides to pretend Yamada is her new boyfriend, which results in the two spending time together both in-game and IRL. However, Yamada is only interested in the game. Will he eventually be interested in Akane as well? And then from Kodansha, we get a Sign of Affection Omnibus Edition Volume 1. This 3-in-1 collects the first, of course, 3 volumes of the original Sign of Affection single volumes. The cover price is $23, which means in comparison to buying each of the single volumes, you're saving around $16. So if you are a fan of the series or are curious about the series, maybe you've been watching the anime and haven't picked up the manga yet, this is a great value for you. However, the one thing that I do want to note that would be like a negative difference is that it does not include the color pages from the first single volume. Otherwise, it's a great looking package. I would recommend it if you want to save some money and you like reading thick omnibus editions. It's a good volume. And Kodansha's omnibus editions tend to have really good binding that doesn't fold and crease so easily, so it's easy to read without causing any major damage. Next up from Kodansha is KX Yaku Bound by Law. This is a BL crime drama about Ichiro, an agent, and Shiro, a Yakuza member, who realize they've both been put on the same cold case regarding the disappearance of Rion Nakaba, who was Ichiro's mentor and is Shiro's sister. In order to reach the truth, the two disguise themselves as lovers to try and follow her trail. I believe this one also has been, yes, a story that inspired the hit Japanese crime suspense drama. And dramatic it is. The first couple chapters that I read definitely were really heavy with drama. So if that is your thing, definitely pick up KX Yaku Bound by Law. Then from Kodansha, we also have a couple of final volumes. The sixth and final volume of A Galaxy Next Door. This is a rom-com series which also had an anime adaptation that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Blu-ray is coming out this month as well for the anime adaptation. Galaxy Next Door, of course, is also by the creator of Sweetness and Lightning, so if you're familiar with that one and you haven't checked this out, then you might want to check this 6-volume series out. And we have the 15th and final volume of To the Abandoned Sacred Beasts from Kodansha Comics and Vertical Comics. I falsely reported previously that volume 14 was the end of this series. Obviously, I was wrong. Volume 15 is the end, and now the series is actually completed. Then we've got BL First Crush Anthology, 5 Seconds Before We Fall in Love from 7 Seas Entertainment. This is a short story collection about falling in love for the first time, including stories from the creators of BL Metamorphosis, Manly Appetites, I Think I Turned My Childhood Friend Into a Girl, and more. Then we have also a final volume from 7 Seas, Ladies on Top Volume 6, that is the steamy rom-com series about a relationship between a submissive guy and a dominant girl, and how they kind of navigate their relationship together, both inside and outside of bed. And we end the 14th on The Great Yokai War Guardians Volume 3 from Titan Manga, which is the final volume of this adaptation of the film of the same name. Moving on into the 21st, we start up with a big one coming from Viz Media as part of their signature line, and that is Hira Yasumi. I know a ton of people were extremely excited when this license was picked up several months ago. This follows the 29-year-old Hiroto Ikura, who does not have a girlfriend, nor a full-time job, nor a plan for the future, but what he does have is his happiness. However, while not everyone understands his laissez-faire attitude, Hiroto and all the people around him are just doing their best to make it through this life. Hiroto befriended a grouchy old woman in his neighborhood and then inherits her house, as well as some personal grief. Then, when his 18-year-old cousin moves in with him, he finds his easygoing lifestyle may be put to the test. Moving on, we get a lot of stuff from Yen Press, a lot of which they sent me the preview volumes of. First up is The Kept Man of the Princess Knight. This one is has the mature warning on there for a good reason. This one is about basically the Princess Arwen is delving into dungeons and trying to find ways to save her kingdom, while her knight Matthew is wasting away his days outspending Arwen's money on women and alcohol. Matthew's a troublemaker and he's scorned by all but Arwen because she knows that his loyalty runs much deeper than his reputation lets on. Could he be putting up a facade? This one, I really enjoyed the first chapter that I read. I do want to read more, and the concept itself is a really fun one, and I've also heard a lot of good things about this from people who have read the light novel series, so I am looking forward to diving a little bit deeper into that one. This next one is a very strange rom-com, all things considered, Friday at the Atelier. This one follows Emiko, who finds a man collapsed on the street, but when she approaches him, he requests to use her as a model. He is a renowned artist, Shunsui Ishihara, and wants to paint her nude covered in fish. Could this abnormal meet cute lead towards something special, or at least something unpredictable? I really enjoyed the beginning of this one. It is definitely very, very different from any other rom-com series that I have read. The characters are intriguing, their interactions are interesting, and I just really enjoyed seeing their relationship kind of bud, and you can have this sense that like he has some sort of feeling for her but does not want at all to admit anything about it. It's a really interesting start. It is also a mature series. It does have the explicit content label on there because there is nudity, of course, with him wanting to draw her nude. And yes, he does draw her nude covered in fish. It is strange, and she kind of goes along with that strangeness. I can't wait to keep reading that one as well. The beginning really, really intrigued me. Anyway, next up from Yen Press is Goblin Slayer, A Day in the Life. This is based on the Goblin Slayer novel that has the same name. I'm not familiar with the Goblin Slayer series at all because I only watched like the first 1 or 2 episodes of the original anime, and I never went any further than that. So I didn't recognize like any of these characters or anything, but it was still a pretty fun first couple chapters to this book. So this one has a new party that includes Club Fighter, Supreme Gods Cleric, and Hairfolk Hunter take on new challenges and face powerful enemies. Meanwhile, Priestess, Female Knight, Witch, and High Elf Archer form another party to defend a besieged fortress from an unknown menace. So if you are a fan of Goblin Slayer, this is probably going to be something that you are easily going to want to pick up and you're going to enjoy. Another franchise that I'm not, don't know much about is Sword Art Online. This is Re-Aincrad, which the only Sword Art that I've seen is the first half of the first season, and coincidentally, this is the series that is adapting that season. So we're going back to the beginning. We get to see the earliest days of Asuna, Kirito, all of those characters, and their beginnings in Aincrad. So whether you were a fan of Sword Art Online and you want to go back to the beginning and read this adaptation, or you are new to the franchise and you want to start from the beginning, this is going to be a good one for y'all to pick up. Next up is She Likes Gays But Not Me. This one is about Jun, who hides the fact that he's gay from everyone, but one day sees a classmate of his, Sai, buying a BL book. He approaches Sai about her being a fujoshi, but is hesitant to tell her his secret. Jun wishes to have what he considers to be a normal future with a wife, home, and biological child, but how can he do that when he isn't attracted to women? This one, you can tell just from the beginning, this is going to be a very heavy read emotionally. I could immediately tell, even though the first chapter doesn't delve much into the story and much into the relationship between the two characters, it still feels like it's going to be very heavy. And for people who have read the novel that this is based on, you probably know that to be true. Then we have a couple from Eyes Press, the imprint over at Yen Press for Korean comics and whatnot. Perks of Being an S-Class Heroine. This one follows Eilette, a talented transmigrator who has recently purchased an insurance package right at the moment of her untimely end, which means that now in her new life, she has all the perks of a top-tier support system and item shop to fall back on so that she can become an S-Class heroine. And that's a good thing too, because this is a very brutal world that she lives in. And finally, one more from Eyes Press is Tied to You. This one I believe might have been from last month, but it got pushed forward into this month. Anyway, description: Wuseo has a crush on his close friend Jiseok Kang, but the already difficult situation is made even more so when he finds the red thread of fate connects him to Jiseok's older brother Jigeon. Scandalous. Anyway, moving on, we get a few things from Seven Seas this week as well. Mysterious disappearances. In this manga, mysteries appear as actual objects, and now throughout Tokyo, mysteries are appearing in the form of urban legends. Burnt-out novelist Ogawa Sumireko and demon boy Adashino Ren are trying to collect as many of them as they can, but Sumireko keeps triggering their magical effects. Then we've got My Girlfriend's Not Here Today, also from 7 Seas. This one's a GL from the creator of Transparent Blue Light that follows Asahina Uni, who, tired of her girlfriend, turns to an anonymous online account. Soon, Asahina gets swept away with the beautiful Taki, who turns out to be following Asahina's private account. Taki is definitely up to no good as she continues to tell lie after lie, tangling Asahina in a web of secrets and desires. Then from Kodansha, this week we've got The Yearning Fox Lies in Wait. This is a single volume BL from the creator of Turns Out My Online Friend Is My Real Life Boss, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. In 1920, Kyo has been admitted to Imperial University, but finds himself lost and on hard times on his very first day in the big city. Luckily, he runs into Ozaki, a well-off man who invites him into his mansion. However, Ozaki turns out to be a fox spirit with a connection to Kyo's grandfather, Seishiro. Then we got a couple from Tokyo Pop to wrap up this week. The Man Who Shattered My World is another single volume BL about Tachibana, who usually has no strings attached relationships with slender men, but picks up Barani Kazumi on a whim, which completely changes everything for Tachibana. I had to be a little bit creative with the description because the actual description is a lot more like 18 and up than usually what I'll put on my channel here. Then we have Heat X Beat, a shut-in Omega becomes an idol. I'm assuming the X is meant to be silent, so Heat Beat, a shut-in Omega becomes an idol. I don't know. Omegaverse BL about a shut-in named Minoru who makes a song that catches the attention of famous idol Hijiri, which then thrusts Minoru into the spotlight as an idol and music producer. Now we move into the final week of the month, but before we do so, a quick word from the sponsor of our channel here, Walt's Comic Shop. Now, I mentioned that earlier in the video, I get all my dates from places like Amazon, Crunchyroll, Barnes & Noble. We have plenty of options here is what I'm trying to say. I get most of my stuff when I buy these books. I get them from InStockTrades.com. But there are plenty of options for us here in the US, but if you go outside the US, you don't have as many options. If you're in the EU, where do you shop? Well, Walt's Comic Shop is a great option for you to start shopping from for your English language manga. Walt's Comic Shop has great customer service, a fantastic selection, and not only do they do manga, but Walt's also does Western comics. So if you'd like to dip your toes into stuff like Marvel or DC, if you've been enjoying X-Men 97, want to pick up some X-Men comics, Walt's can help you there as well. And if it's your first time shopping with Walt's, you can use code the Omnibus Collector to get free shipping within the EU on your first order of €40 or more. So again, check out Walt's Comic Shop at waltzcomicshop.com for all of your English language manga needs for all of y'all in the EU. And let's continue into the final week of the month, starting off with a release that I'm really excited about, Her Frankenstein from Living the Line. This is the inaugural volume of manga historian Ryan Holmberg's smudge line of pulp horror and mystery manga. Her Frankenstein follows the wimpy Tetsuo, who meets the beautiful Kimiko, who loves movies and mayhem but takes no interest in Tetsuo outside of her need for him to become her monster. Her Frankenstein. I'm in for any horror manga, so I'm really excited about this. And I'm excited to see a new line being popped up over at Living the Line for pulp horror and mystery manga like this. We already have another release lined up from them, at least one more release. So I'm excited to see what else Living the Line and Holmberg bring from the smudge line. Then from Yen Press, we've got Bungo Stray Dogs, the official comic anthology. This is another franchise that I am pretty much completely unfamiliar with, but it's an anthology of short stories by various creators that feature a bunch of the characters from the Bungo Stray Dogs series. So if you are a fan of Bungo Stray Dogs, this is going to be something you might want to pick up. It'll give you some more of those characters, more for you to love. Then we get from Kodansha, the one I mentioned earlier, Turns Out My Online Friend Is My Real Life Boss. I read the first few chapters of this one. I couldn't put it down. It was so much fun. It is a really wholesome, funny little BL comedy where two online friends that know each other through a mobile game that they play together will complain to each other about life and about work and stuff like that, but little do they know that they actually work with each other. And one of the friends who constantly is complaining about his boss is actually playing this game and complaining to his boss. His boss just has no clue. So I haven't read to the point that they find out each other's identities, but as of yet, it's very funny. I highly recommend it. Even if you've never read a BL series, if you're not into BL stuff whatsoever, it is a lot of fun. I recommend it. I just think it was super funny. I just think it was a really nice, wholesome, funny series. Moving on, we get one from 7 Seas Entertainment, Only the Stars Know. This is a single volume BL from the creator of The Two Lions. Sora has lost his job and his girlfriend. Heading into a park, he stumbles upon a stranger with whom he watches a stunning meteor shower. The two share a moment together, and the stranger leans in for a kiss, but Sora is left dumbstruck. And then we end the month with Genius Puppeteer Loves the Holy Knight Fiercely. This one is another single volume BL coming from Tokyo Pop about a holy knight, Gilbert, saved from the execution by the enemy nation's artificer and puppeteer named Chris. Chris only surrounds himself with dolls of his own making and wants to use Gilbert's soul to create his newest masterpiece. Gilbert refuses to go along with this plan, but is forced between either certain death or becoming an immortal doll. That one sounds creepy as heck. Anyway, that is it as far as the notable new releases coming out throughout the month of May. There's a lot of stuff that I'm really excited about, and again, huge thanks to Kodansha Yen Press and to Square Enix for sending me advanced review copies so that I can talk about these books and show them to y'all to better help y'all make a decision of whether or not you want to pick these books up yourself and add them to your collection. With that, let me know in the comments down below what books I talked about in this video you are excited about picking up, and tell me what books that are coming out throughout May that I didn't mention in this video you're excited about picking up, because I know I'm picking up a ton of stuff this month. There's a lot of good things happening in May. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If this was your first time, welcome to my channel. I hope that you'll consider hitting that subscribe button and coming back for new videos that I put out roughly every other week. If you're not new here, you know how much it means to me when y'all spend time with me. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. And also, if you're not new here, you got to see the kind of different way that I'm putting together this video. So let me know in the comments if you liked it, if you didn't like it. I'm still playing with the way that I'm going to do the slides and stuff, so might change colors and add stuff in there to make it a little bit more appealing. But I just wanted to do that so that I could add more information on the screen to help people out with knowing these series and knowing more just basic information about all of them. Anyway, again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.